Hi, I'm your host, Larissa Worstiuk. Through this podcast, I aim to empower and inspire jewelry entrepreneurs and innovators so they can thrive by doing what they love. I'm passionate about digital marketing for jewelry brands, and I'm excited to share that passion with you. This is episode 110, and today I'm going to address a question that seems to be on a lot of jewelry entrepreneurs' minds these days. How do I authentically engage on Instagram as my jewelry brand? I'm going to give you some actionable tips in this episode that you can start implementing ASAP. But before we get to the focus of this episode, I want to share some marketing related news and insights from the past week that caught my attention. So Shopify just released its Future of Commerce 2021 report. What does the year ahead hold for your e-commerce jewelry brand? They unlocked 5 key predictions based on the trends they've been seeing in e-commerce. So one of the predictions in particular I found to be super great for independent jewelry brands, and I know that many of my listeners make up that demographic. So the report says that many consumers in 2021 will want to shop from independent brands. However, those consumers sometimes have trouble finding these independent brands or aren't necessarily happy with the order fulfillment options provided by those brands, which just aren't able to keep up with Amazon's fast shipping speeds. If there's one thing you should focus on in 2021, it's definitely to create more brand awareness, because I'm telling you, those consumers are looking for you in the marketplace. Try to get in front of them with your marketing. Put yourself out there. Make your brand more discoverable. Make it easy for people who want to buy your jewelry to find you. And then if there's something else that you can do in 21, it's definitely do everything you can to streamline your purchase and fulfillment process. So you may never end up being Amazon. It's pretty hard to keep up with free 2-day shipping, but I can guarantee you that there's probably something that you can do to streamline your checkout and fulfillment processes and to just improve the customer experience overall. So next, Facebook recently introduced its brand new Pages experience. It's still being rolled out to different business pages, so you may not have seen it yet, but I just wanted to give you a heads up of what you can expect. So the social media platform announced that the upgrade will include a new layout, new ways for followers to engage with the brand, a new Q&A format, new page management tools, and the removal of likes with a new focus on page followers. What do you think of these new features? Do Facebook pages need an update in your opinion? And what else would you like to see in the future moving forward from Facebook? And finally, what were jewelers' best-selling products for the 2020 holiday season? The Centurion recently shared the results of the 2020 Holiday Sales Success Index, which showed that the top 2 product categories were diamonds, with 88% of respondents citing that category, watches, especially Rolex, with 29% of respondents citing that category, and then 12% did well with colored gemstones, and 6% listed pearls as a best-selling product for the holidays. Okay, I mean, have I ever read a more boring results to a survey in my life? I mean, I probably could have told you that diamonds and watches are popular product categories for the holidays, but okay, I'll be nice and say that the survey is a really great affirmation that people are out there and still buying these more higher priced categories, diamonds and Rolex watches. So that's definitely encouraging. I like to hear that. But again, nothing super surprising. Curious what you think about the results of that survey. If you want to get the links to the articles I share in this segment of the podcast, you can sign up for my email newsletter by visiting joyjoya.com/signup. You'll get a digest with the links every time a new episode drops. Okay, let's get to it. The thing everyone wants to know. Are you frustrated by the Instagram algorithms? I probably don't even need to ask you, because I already know the answer is yes, if you're like most jewelry brands. You're probably wondering why your posts aren't getting seen and why they're being liked by so few people. I understand that it's gotta be super frustrating to put a lot of time, effort, and thought into your content and then having it not get noticed. That stinks. So you may already know that the best way to boost your engagement on Instagram, so that means your number of likes, comments, shares, and new followers, is to be an active member of the platform. In order to boost your engagement, you also have to be engaging and engage with other users as well. According to a blog post I just saw from Later about how the Instagram algorithm works in 2021, quote, consistently showing up on Instagram is so important. It sends positive signals to the Instagram algorithm and gives your audience more opportunities to interact with your content, end quote. Okay, great, but what does that mean? I've had a few different clients actually ask me this same question over the past few weeks, so I thought I would share my answer and hopefully be helpful to a lot of people out there who are feeling frustrated. So let's talk about the actual act of engagement. I'm not going to lie, it's probably going to seem kind of meandering and pointless when you're doing it, especially at the beginning, but it does have a relevant goal. Of course, your overarching goal is going to be to create brand awareness and to introduce new customers to your jewelry brand so they can eventually purchase from you. The short-term goal of this exercise of engagement is to get more eyeballs on your Instagram profile and your posts so that more people start liking, commenting, and sharing your content. And then these actions over time will give Instagram the signal that your content is relevant and interesting, and it will move your posts higher up in your followers' feeds, thus exposing you more regularly to the people who are already familiar with your brand and are following it. So the steps that you'll need to take in order to achieve what I'm describing are kind of tedious. They are sometimes mindless and definitely repetitive. You personally probably won't want to do them, and you'll cry about why you need to work so hard to make Instagram work for you. I'm sorry to say there are no shortcuts in this process. If you personally don't want to do the work, then train someone on your team to do it for you, or outsource it to someone who's passionate about Instagram and who is an effective and intuitive communicator. But even if you do end up outsourcing the work, I would still recommend and invite you to occasionally do some of the engagement yourself, because I can guarantee you through this process that you will learn a lot about the market, your customers, and your competitors, and you'll also have realistic expectations about what a social media platform like Instagram can help you achieve. You'll probably also get a lot of fresh ideas about ways that you can create content for Instagram and maybe even spruce up your own profile. So follow the steps I'm going to describe, and you can even get started today. First, you'll want to know your target customer. I know, I feel like literally every piece of advice I've ever given on this podcast starts with this same directive. Know your target customer inside and out. Should I tattoo it on my face so that all my YouTube subscribers can constantly see it? Because it's what I'm thinking 100% of the time. Before you can engage on Instagram effectively, you need to know what your target customer wants or needs and how your target customer would like to receive communications. How would he or she like you to speak and interact? Knowing your target customer like you would know a close friend is the only way you can start effectively engaging on Instagram. It's the only way. Figure out what your target customer likes, where he or she spends time. Once you know your target customer, you're going to need to do a little bit of sleuthing on Instagram. Who are the influencers that your particular target customer admires, if there are any? These influencers don't necessarily have to be fashion influencers. If your target customer is posting a lot of her own content, his or her own content, which hashtags is that target customer using for their posts? What are your target customer's brand affinities, and which other brands does the target customer follow on Instagram? What are some brands that could potentially be good partners in helping you to reach your target customers? Which customers are already loudly and proudly serving as ambassadors of your brand? These are all questions that you really need to sit down and take the time to answer genuinely and know the answers to them. And anyone on your team who's helping you with social media also needs to know the answers to these questions. Once you know the answers to these questions, you can start engaging authentically. And I will share some specifics in just a moment. But first, you'll want to set a general goal to engage for at least 30 minutes per day. Once you've answered the questions I just said, then you're going to visit your choice of the following types of accounts and hashtags that I'm going to share in just a moment, and do what I describe for each of those things in a genuine and authentic way. So what I mean by that is you'll want to comment more than just a single emoji, like a heart emoji or something. Instead, you'll actually want to write a few thoughtful words in a comment and try to speak in a voice that you think represents your brand, rather than the voice you might use when you personally interact on social media. And that will kind of vary a lot from brand to brand, so you'll need to figure that out for your own brand. When you engage with influencers who you think resonate with your target customer, this is what you need to do. You're going to start building relationships with these influencers. Not necessarily with the goal of working with them, though that could always be a possibility in the future, but to create brand awareness and to inspire them to also like and share your content. If you see a post that you like on the influencer's feed, then leave a genuine and thoughtful comment. Not everyone will be interested in responding to you, and probably most of them won't, but over time you'll start to find the ones who also like to engage with you in return and may even become genuine fans of your brand and your products. And keep focusing your attention on those, because that's a great way to start building a relationship with them and to start getting reciprocal engagement from people that already have their own community of followers. So you'll also want to surf the hashtag, those hashtags that I said your target customer might be using when he or she creates a post on Instagram. So now that you have an idea of what those hashtags are, or at least a preliminary idea, because you probably won't know for sure when you get started, start exploring some of them. You can spend one day on one hashtag, for example. One thing that I often recommend to my clients is to check out hashtags that aren't necessarily related to fashion or style, since you'll likely be coming across more influencers and wannabe influencers if you're focusing on those topics. And that doesn't necessarily end up being helpful. It's kind of like a little bit of a loop where you kind of start to see the same people liking each other's posts and commenting on each other's posts. So you might want to think outside the box a little bit. For example, if you know that your target customer is someone who might be passionate about baking, and that's definitely a possibility even for a jewelry brand, then try a baking hashtag. Explore some of the content and interact meaningfully with any of the posts that catch your eye. You may discover that engaging with that baking hashtag doesn't yield anything interesting or doesn't lead to any sort of reciprocal engagement. That's fine. You tried it. It's part of the process. So you're going to move on to another hashtag and play around with that also. There's really nothing to lose from this exercise or to do wrong or poorly. One thing I want to emphasize is that this is a bit of a discovery process and trial and error, especially at the beginning. Once you've identified your competitors and brand affinities on Instagram, you're going to want to check out some of your competitors' Instagram feeds and take a look at who are the people commenting on their posts. Try interacting with some of those people who are liking your competitors' posts, but be wary, because I've had this question before. Don't do it on the comments of your competitors' posts. Go to those people's individual profiles and comment there on the followers' own photographs. I hope that makes sense. So also you want to check out the profiles of other brands that aren't your competitors, but who could maybe be good business partners. Maybe they reach your similar target customer base. Like maybe there's a fashion brand that has similar values and kind of design aesthetic as your jewelry brand. Like, become friendly with them on Instagram and get to know who their followers are. Engage with those people in the same way. And lastly, with outspoken customers or ambassadors of your brand, you'll want to know which Instagram users are already those loud and proud ambassadors of your brand. You want to give those people extra attention. If they're not always showing up in your newsfeed, then make a note to regularly visit their profiles and catch up on their latest posts, commenting on that content, interacting with them in a meaningful way. If those people already love your brand, I can tell you they will for sure be excited to see that you care and that you're paying attention. and it will only inspire more customer loyalty in those people. So if you're making a concerted effort to do what I just described every day for at least 30 minutes, listen, I don't guarantee very much in marketing, but I can 100% guarantee this, that you will see an increase in your engagement. You will. I'm guaranteeing it right now. I can't say that about anything else that you can do on Instagram, except what I just described. If you put in the work and establish yourself as an active member of Instagram, it is a social media network, of course. You're supposed to be social there, and people forget that. Then you will reap the rewards of your work, and it's going to take work. I'm not going to lie. So you may be wondering, why aren't the big brands necessarily doing this? Well, they've already built the momentum that you have yet to create, and who knows, you don't know how they are or are not engaging and interacting. Either through social media or in other ways, they've already established themselves with their target customer community, and they're regularly creating super engaging content. They probably have huge marketing budgets where they're cranking out like dozens of stories per day or per week, investing tons of money into photography, resources that you may not have. They don't have to work as hard to get noticed and get their content higher up in their followers' feeds. It's definitely unfair, but life is unfair. And the brands that already have great engagement will continue getting great engagement. That's just how it works. You're going to need to work a little bit harder to get to that point. So what do you think about all of this? Are you excited to try some of my suggestions? Have you already been doing this and notice an increase in your engagement? I would love to hear your thoughts. You can always email me, Larissa, that's LARYSSA @joyjoya.com with your comments and feedback. As a reminder, my book, Jewelry Marketing Joy, is available for purchase and ready to ship. If you'd like to learn more about that book and how you can get your own copy, please visit joyjoya.com/book.